New classes, new weapons, and there's just, it's not that big of an update, but this update is really fun. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment below what your favorite part of the update was, and let's get right into the video. Make sure to join my Discord. Alright, so the first class I'm going to be showing you guys is the new Tycoon class. Now, this class is not really anything special, but as you guys can see, I am one-shotting to the head with the Mauser. Now, if I'm being honest with you guys, for some reason, the Dead Rails devs, I think they always have a problem with, like, damage-oriented classes and how the damage doesn't go away even after you lose the money. So I'm pretty sure that if you drop a ton of money and constantly pick it off the ground, you will actually just straight up get more damage. Because I'm pretty sure a pistol from, like, this range would normally not one-shot a zombie, and I only got about 100 money. Now, in case you're wondering what the Tycoon does fully, pretty much what the Tycoon does is that up to $2,000, you get more HP and more damage. Now, based off my tests, I'm pretty sure that 100 money is equivalent to about a 5 to 10% increase in both HP and damage. Now, this is one of the rare classes that actually gets better as the game goes on. I feel like Packmaster is another one that gets better as the game goes on because you get more wolves. So it's kind of just a really weird class because the benefit of it is not really immediately useful. Like, if you have a high roller with you at the start of a game, you can get a lot of cash on you immediately, which could actually carry you throughout the first town. But that's only if you have another high roller on your team. And it does, something about this class is it does actually make high roller better and more worth using. Unlike before where, you know, high roller was just kind of like one of those things where you used sometimes. So I definitely think this class is, I can see it being very good. I can see it being an extremely good class that people use all the time because there is no downside to it whatsoever. And also, my ammo is glitched right now. That's weird. But there's no downside to using this class. You don't lose anything for using it. You just get more as you get more money. And money is really easy to get in this game. But I definitely see this class being better in solo than in teams. Unless you're playing with another high roller. Because you'll be hoarding a lot of money that other people might actually need to not die. So in the end of things, I do think Tycoon, like if I had to rank it on like a normal tier list, I'd probably put Tycoon in like B+. Because the effect isn't immediately useful to a great degree, and you're kind of hoarding money from your teammates. But I don't think the class is inherently bad either. It's just like a better than none class. Now, next up is going to be the Knight class. Now, the Knight class has a really cool synergy with another one of the new classes, but the Knight class alone, you get a sword, and you actually get a headpiece and an armor plate on your body. So you get a chest plate, and you actually get a helmet. Now, if you guys do not know how big of a deal this is, you guys know how bad Ironclad has been, how bad it's been over the history of the entirety of Dead Rails after they made it so you couldn't sell the armor anymore. And Knight is, I'm being dead honest when I say this, Knight, in my opinion, is Ironclad, but better. It is pretty much just a better version of Ironclad. I definitely think that this class probably should have been, I think that it would have been better to rename Ironclad to Knight and give it a sword and take away the shoulder plates. I definitely think that would have been a better choice than adding an entire new class that people have to buy. Because, quite frankly, this is just a better Ironclad class. Not only do you still get the helmet and the chest plate, which are the big pieces of the armor, but you don't get the shoulder plates, but you also get a sword. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the sword, yes, the sword does twice the amount of damage as the shovel. So it still takes 3 hits to kill zombies with this weapon. But they're about almost dead, and if you actually do a small hit in between, you will actually 2-hit them. But you have to do like this. You have to do it like that to actually kill zombies quickly. I do think that this class is a really great class, especially if you put it with the King class. Though, I do think this class can definitely stand on its own 2 legs. I definitely think that the King class overall is actually a pretty decent class. Not the King class, the Knight class is a pretty decent class. And buying it, you don't really have any reason not to use this class unless you have something like Survivalist or things like that. Because I do think Survivalist is still better than this class. But if you just want armor and you just want, you know, a simple class that doesn't really have anything to it other than the King class synergy, I definitely think this class is worth doing. If I had to rank it on a tier list, I would definitely put this class in like B+ tier with Tycoon. Because there is no disadvantage to using this class. I would put this above Tycoon in the ranking as well. Because there is immediate benefit to this class, unlike the Tycoon class. And if I'm being dead honest with you, I would actually, there's an argument made for it being A- tier because of the class, the synergy with the King class. It's just a very solid class. It's just another better than none class that has a synergy with another one of the classes. And it does actually have the ability to make another one of the classes insanely strong to the point where it rivals like werewolf and vampire and things like that. And this is one of the new weapons that I'll show you guys later, by the way. It's just a firework launcher. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I do think this class is quite good. I definitely think you won't go wrong by buying it. And if you plan on playing with friends that are going to be using the King class, definitely pick up this class. It's worth picking up. Alright guys, so the next class I'm going to be showing you guys is the King class. Now, based on what I've tested with this class itself, I do think this class, it is pretty good in teams. Of course, this class, as you guys probably know from the description of it, the more knights you get, the more damage you actually do. And that makes this class literally the nun class in solo play. In solo play, this class is pretty much equivalent to it's literally equivalent to the nun class in solo play. But in teams, this class has the ability to rival things like werewolf, survivalist, vampire. Like, you could rival all of these S+ tier classes by just having enough knights, because there is actually no limit to the amount of HP you can gain off of this or the amount of like damage you can gain off this. It just depends on how many knights you have. Now, based on what I see, I think every single knight you get, it gives you about 10% HP and 20% damage increase. Now, that may not seem like a big deal, but you gotta imagine that's per knight. If you play in a lobby of 5 people, you have 100% more damage and 50% more HP. So you're pretty much a better werewolf at that point, without any downsides whatsoever. There's not a single downside, because Knight itself is also a really good class, and so you don't really lose anything by doing it, and the person playing the King class can actually just straight up win the game for you. So I do think that this class itself is a really good class. I think in solo play, it is quite buns. So if I had to rank this class on a scale of S to F, in solo play, it would be in D tier with the Nun class. It's the exact same in solo as the Nun class. But in team play, depending on the amount of knights you have, it ranges from B+ tier to S+. Like, this class, if you have enough knights, if you play in a lobby of 10 and 9 other people are playing as knights, this class is the best class in the game. Easily. But you have to have a lobby of 10. It can be difficult to do that. More likely than not, you're probably going to have 1 or 2 people with you playing knight. So, in reality, this class is probably going to be around, like, B+ to A tier. But it is definitely not a bad class. Don't look down on this class. It's definitely really nice. There's a ladder. What? They added ladders? What? Yo, the added ladders. Look at this. The added ladders. I didn't realize that. When did they add that? The added ladders in the game. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so this class, it's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as some of the other new additions to this game, but I think it has the potential to be better. And I think this class is very unique with its passive as well, compared to a lot of other classes, which is nice. It's a good addition, and I definitely think maybe it should have had a little speed increase as well, because the reality is you're not going to be getting 5 knights in your lobbies. You're probably going to have 1 or 2, like I said, so a little speed increase would have been good as well. But the class is definitely not bad. Alright, so there are actually 2 new weapons being added to the game. Now, the first one is going to be the firework gun. Now, this holds 1 ammo, and the way you find this gun and the ammo for it is you have to look through towns. They spawn in towns. Now, as you guys can see, if you hit someone directly with one of these, it will actually one-shot them, but you have to hit them directly with it. If you hit them nearby, depending on how close they are to it, it will actually do a bit of damage. Also, for some reason, the firework gun is not good at close range, so do not rely on this weapon for if a zombie gets right next to you. I've died when testing this before, just from that. If you get good at, like, learning the arc of it and things like that, you can actually hit zombies from a decent distance away. And like I said, it is actually an AoE effect, though the AoE effect on the weapon, honestly, is really, like, not that good. Like, the actual AoE on it is pretty bad, honestly. Like, this weapon's main use is definitely one-shotting zombies from range, and it's kind of just a free weapon that you could find in a town that can help you clear the town or clear things nearby to the town and things like that. It also looks like the explosive does damage to you as well, because I took damage when I did that. So, be careful of that. And especially be careful of the next weapon, as I'll show you guys here in a second. But the firework gun, if I had to rank it on a tier list from, like, S to F, I think this weapon would be a solid, like, B+. It only holds 1 bullet at a time. You have to hit them directly with it, which can be difficult at, like, a little bit away. But if you get good at it, it can be a pretty good weapon. So I definitely think B+ tier for this weapon is pretty accurate, because there's just better weapons. The ammo is somewhat hard to find for the weapon as well. And you also have to find the weapon, too. You have to find both of those things to make use of this weapon. And the AoE effect on it is really, really small, so you're mostly just going to be using it for one-shotting zombies, if I'm being honest with you. Now, the really cool weapon that got added recently is these bottle rocket launchers. Now, you can weld these to your train, but you can use them without them being welded to your train and things like that. And you can move around while using it. So I'm going to use this, and as you guys can see, you literally just turn into a rocket barrage artillery. You can move around with this and do a lot of damage, but the real fun of it is when you have a ton of them like this, and you just do this. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. Look at that. Now, if you can manage to actually get one of the bosses at the end of the game trapped in one singular spot, and you let like 10 of these off at once, you can actually kill the boss really easily by doing that. Like the bottle rocket launcher is really good because there's no pieces to the puzzle you have to find. You just slap that bad boy down, activate it, walk around with it, and you get a lot of kills with it because it doesn't matter that the AoE damage on it is low because you're just going to be hitting hitting them with a ton of them anyways. You can clear a town with it. It is not a bad weapon. That weapon overall, I think I would put it in like A tier or A minus tier maybe. It's not the greatest weapon in the world, but it's pretty good. And the firework gun, it's worth using if you find it, but it only sells for 15. So it's just like one of those guns, you use it when you find it, and you don't really care about it once you get better weapons after that. But I do think they're very cool guns. I do enjoy that they're actually adding new guns to the game, and I do like the idea of adding like newer guns that have different effects than just shooting a regular gun. Now, another thing they added that I'm not going to talk about them that much because I don't know how much you guys are going to be using this is there's pro servers where you need 10 challenge stars. Not really pro, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really understand this one. It should be like maybe like 50 if I'm being honest with you. And then there's the VC only server, which I do think people are going to like this one a lot. They're just some servers that you can get into if you want to get like certain people, like people that have already beat the game at least once, or people that are only use VC. It's just like, it's a pretty good addition to the game. It doesn't hurt anyone by adding it. And just keep in mind that these will be in the game from this point on, so you guys will be able to join servers depending on what you want. But I do think most people are just going to stay in the main lobby and join it through that. Anyways, guys, it's actually going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment below what your favorite part of the update was. And I hope to see you next one, guys. Peace out. Make sure to join my Discord.